Hey, thank you for tuning in to SpitteN-Pickz, and it's the 5th episode, and it's a big Thursday night, coming off a big Tuesday night that we had a good win, that we went 12 for 14 of our bets, and last night we did go 2 out of 3, hitting our straight bet with our -1.5 with the Rangers. We did lose the -1.5 with the Oilers, but we hit the parlay with the Oilers and the Rangers parlay together. And I didn't put it out there, but I did take a same game parlay on the Rangers under 7.5. So let's jump right into tonight. Just wanted to review the results of the last couple nights. Thank you for tuning back in. And without further ado, let's jump right into it and make some money. So our first matchup we're going to go to is Vegas at Boston, where Vegas is 33-19, 5-2, but 14-10, 3-2 on the road against Boston, who's 34-12, 11-3, with an 18-7-4 home record. Much stronger home than away this year is Boston. Boston's been on a downslide lately. Vegas has been on more of an uptick lately. Even though in their last 10 they're only 4 of 5, and 1 in overtime wins, so 5-5 going 500. Boston is even worse at 3-2-3-2. So they got 3 overtime losses, 2 overtime wins, so it puts them at 500. But 5 of their last 10 games went to overtime. They needed overtime, and they played some weaker opponents. So Boston's just not playing great hockey. They're just not playing like the Boston we're used to seeing. So in this matchup, I'm gonna go with the Knights, knowing that they're getting Jack Eichel back, and knowing that they're catching Boston in a first night of a home game, a first night of a homestand. I think that Vegas plays tough hockey, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. The over/under is at 5.5. That tells you everything. So I don't like it either. If I had to really make a bet in this game, it'd be over 5.5. I really don't like a side, but if I have to pick a side, it would be Vegas at the plus 145 mark. Let's jump into the second matchup, where Carolina is visiting Columbus, and Carolina is good on the road. It's at 16-11 with 2 overtime wins. So they're 18-11 on the road, and Columbus is 19-29. 9 overtime losses, 1 overtime win. They're 10-5, 15-4 at home. On the puck line, they're 33-25, where Carolina on the puck line is 24-35. So Carolina is really not great at covering that puck line, which is why in this game I like Columbus getting the puck in a half at only -130. -130. I think Columbus keeps it tight. I do think Carolina wins it, but at -260, I don't like Carolina. And lately I've been getting burned with the regulation bets. So many of these games get pushed to overtime, and the over/under is 6.5. The other play maybe is Carolina bumping this 6.5 up to 7.5 and taking the under 7.5. To keep it safe. Sure, the odds are about -115, -120 on that. But yeah, there's a few ways to go at this game. Again, not one I'm real interested at, not one I'm rushing to the booth to bet. But if I had to pick a money line side, it would be Carolina. If I had to make a bet that I wanted to not lay big money and have a 50-50 shot at cashing, it would be Columbus getting the puck in a half. Which brings us to our next matchup. It's probably my favorite matchup of the night, is the New York Islanders going into Detroit. Detroit is on fire right now. I actually don't know how they're not more than a -115 favorite. They're much better at home than on the road. In the Windy City, they're 18-8-5 and 0 at home. They're 36-23 on the puck line, 19-12 at home. In their last 10, they're 7-2-1, and they're 5-5 to the over/under. So again, makes it hard to over/under, and especially with today, they pull their goalies down 2 goals, and you get an empty net, 2 empty nets, sometimes 3 empty nets. But one of my favorite plays on this game is Detroit money line straight. But the other one is at plus 350, the New York Islanders, who have gone to overtime in 48.8% of their games. So you got a 50-50 shot every time the Islanders are playing that it's going to be a draw and it's going to go to overtime. And at plus 350, I just like those odds. I'd like those odds at plus 325. I've seen them at that, at plus 350, plus 325, plus 300. But the Islanders, man, they sure could take a game to overtime. And if you look at their record, they got 10 overtime losses and 4 overtime wins. So, 14 times, and they're only 55 games in. So, I like Detroit. I'm going to sprinkle on Detroit minus the 1.5. I'm going to also take Patrick Kane and DeBrincat for a point and a point in a same game parlay. I want to get back to you on all those player prop parlays after I get back the lines. I don't like giving them out before I see who the starting line is and what the power play units are going to look like, because they switch them from night to night. So don't take anything in stone. I'll do another video, a follow-up video with my best bets and the bets that I'll make. But let's jump into the next matchup, which is Montreal at Florida. Florida is absolutely tearing apart everybody. Yes, I'm wearing a Florida jersey. I am a Cats fan. I'm loving what the Florida Panthers are doing lately, holding every team in the last 45 days. They've held everybody for less than 2. Bobrovsky's playing off the chain. Montreal's 23-28 on the puck line. They're 37-22, which is interesting. But I like Florida here. Not minus 330, but I do trust Florida to win this in regulation. They've only gone to overtime 4 times. 3 overtime losses, 1 overtime win, and at home they've only gone to overtime twice. So I'm going to trust Florida to secure me a win in regulation, and I'm also going to take Florida and under 7 in a same game parlay, and I'm going to also look at player props in this game because certain guys in this lineup are on fire also. But let's jump to our next matchup. Excuse me. Let's jump to our next matchup where, I still go with pen and paper and tablet, and I'm still getting this whole thing together, so just bear with me. The picks are good, the information's good, the system's a little messed up right now, so just bear with me. Alright, so our next matchup is going to be Minnesota Wild going to Nashville. And both teams are wild card, scrapping for that wild card spot. Both teams at 28, 25, 4-2. On the road, Minnesota is 14-13, 0-2. They're on the puck line 31-28. In their last 10, they're pretty hot, 7-2-1. And they picked up a new center from the Czech. A right-handed center. I can't pronounce his name, and it's evading me right now. But that should, and they just secured Marc-Andre Fleury. He came out publicly saying that he wanted to be there, and they came out and said he isn't going anywhere. They're looking to make a playoff run. So that's big news for Minnesota, that they'll be one of the teams buying at this hopefully exciting trade deadline. But Nashville's a tough team at home. They're 15-15 at home. I know that record doesn't sound very tough at home, but they play better hockey at home. On the puck line, they're 29-31. In their last 10, they're 7-3, 0-0. So if I had to lean one way or the other, it would be Nashville at home. But I don't like the game. It's just too close. Too many variables. Too close. And that's why it's at a coin flip pipe for that reason. So I would take the slight home favorite just because I know for a fact that trends this year are like 63% leaning to home favorites. But other than that number that's right in the forefront of my mind, I can't think of any other reasons why I'd go against Nashville, who's a pretty solid, sound team. Saros and net, and Flip Forsberg, Roman Josi. I'm not going to go through their whole lineup, but they got a good enough team to take Minnesota. And Minnesota has a good enough team to take them. So that being said, let's jump to the next matchup, which, again, Colorado going to Chicago. Colorado, not a great road team, but they are playing the Blackhawks, who are just 11-15-3-1 at home. Their regular record is 15-39-4-1. They're 27-32 on the puck line. They're 1-6, 3 overtime losses, so they're 1-9 in their last 10. And Colorado is basically 500 on the puck line, 30-31. So yeah, 49% says they don't cover, but you know what? They're starting to heat up. It's the last 25 games of the season to the playoffs, and I think they want to start getting that offense really generating. Mikko Rantanen out on the wing, and Nathan McKinnon, and they even have Cale McCall listed at 1.5. So that tells you the book is looking for a big offensive output from them. So I like the over in this game. I do like Colorado, just again, not at minus 285. So I like them at the puck at minus the puck and a half. Get you at somewhat around even money, minus 115 or minus 120. But you know what? Colorado is the far superior team. And Colorado and the over in this game for me. Again, another game I'd like to look at player props. Just waiting for the lineups to come out, because again, they flip-flop them around, and you don't want to take a guy that's being dropped to the third line for 2 points, even though that's very unlikely, obviously. You still don't want to do it without making sure you know what your lineups are. I don't feel comfortable giving you guys anything that I'm not sure about. Okay, so our next matchup is LA going to Vancouver, and the Vancouver Canucks just 4-4-2-0 in their last 10. They are 38-16-5-2. They are one of the top teams in the NHL, definitely top 5, regardless that they haven't played their best hockey in their last 10. LA's record is 29-19-5-5. They're 18-9-4 and 0 on the road. The puck line, they're 27-31. In their last 10, they're 6-4, 0-0. But there's a lot of notable injuries with LA. And, you know, I got to tell you, with all the injuries, even LA being better on the road than they are at home, Vancouver is looking to make things right. And I think they turn things around and have a strong outing against LA at home. I think Demko tightens up his play of late, and I think Vancouver secures another 2 points. And again, I'd love to say Vancouver in regulation, but it's burned me literally the last 3 or 4 times I've done it. They weren't a team to go to overtime much, but lately they've been getting dragged there. So at minus 152, it's not too much juice. I don't mind it. I'll lay that type of juice on a straight bet, especially I feel so strongly about it. But Vancouver's definitely money line, my pick. Now we got Arizona going to Toronto. And I got to tell you, I just spoke so highly about Toronto the other day. And, you know, they were one of the games that I had them to do something, and they just did exactly what they're known for doing, blowing up in a spot they should have no problem getting the W. And here comes Arizona, a team that plays them tough. For whatever reason, Toronto has a tough time with them. Do I think Toronto can walk away with it? Yeah, absolutely I do. But at plus 210, I'm going to take a shot here with the Arizona Coyotes. I'm also going to look at player props in this game. I like the over in this game. I think a lot of goals are going to be scored. But again, not a game I'm real crazy about. You know, I do have a few bets that a lot of bets that I feel strongly about, and I'm going to get back to those in my next video. I'm just giving you guys my overall feel on the overall night and what I think some of my plays could and will be for tonight. But my next video, which will be a very short video, will be the actual plays I'm going to make on the night. And if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Thank you for tuning in. Another day. I hope you guys would do. I'm not doing this very good on camera, but I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope this stuff is helpful to you. Check back in about an hour, 2 hours. As soon as I get those lineups, I'll get back to you with my 6 top bets that I'll definitely be making myself. Probably more around 10 bets, but I'll give them all to you guys. Give me a couple hours to get those lines in, and we'll get our secured action for the night. Thank you for tuning in.